Hello, this is Michael Monroe from HANOI ROCKS, and I like to keep rock and roll alive like WeRock City keeps rock and roll alive, and I do it like this. Since the rebirth of HANOI ROCKS, what the past 7 years have actually meant to me is just having a great band come back together again, and I think we've accomplished creatively. I think we've accomplished what we set out to do. We made 3 great records, and me and Andy McCoy have reconnected and written some great material, and this time it was with equal partnership, with equal mutual respect in terms of writing the songs together. Unlike in the 80s, it was most of the writing was done by Andy, and me coming onto my own as a songwriter the 15, 16 years in between here that I was, solo, has made it fun to see what we can accomplish, what we could accomplish now with this new rebirth. And as I said, we have reconnected, but we have also disconnected now. So we're taking this band to another level and gained a generation of new fans, and I think we've honorably continued the legacy of the band. And while still wanting to maintain the integrity, we came to a point when we decided that it's time to end up on a high note and leave the band. Let it be the best kept secret in rock and roll, as it always has been, and let's maintain the integrity of HANOI ROCKS as a great live band and a band that would never become a day job and cash in on some past fame or whatever. We would never do a reunion tour. Well, we would never become a band that would do just reunion tours and never make new records and just when the guys run out of money, go and cash in on that, and that sort of would kill the whole idea, and that's not real rock and roll to me anyway. So I think it's cool that we've done what we've done, and now it's time to go our separate ways, and it's been a great band, and HANOI ROCKS memory will stay alive, and Michael Monroe will continue solo from now on, and like I have. So yeah. I think we've accomplished what we set out to do with this, taking it as far as we can, and it's time to move on. The best memory since the rebirth, I must say, the best memory will be of a great band that never compromised the integrity and there's a lot of separate incidents. There have been a lot of fun times, and there have been crappier times too, but I like to think of the good times and try to remember good memories. But as I said, the best memory is being able to be proud of this band and what we accomplished and what we've done and set out to do, and I think that's the best thing to remember about HANOI ROCKS. If the band would have been able to go to America, so to speak, if we had had the right kind of machinery behind us and the kind of manager that could have made things really happen, and plus if there wouldn't have been certain problems with Andy getting into the country and those as usual, that was frustrating. One of the frustrating things about not being able to go to all the places that we wanted to. America was one, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of funding, and as we said, we were never lucky enough to have the right kind of machinery behind the band and someone with enough muscle to make things go even further. So you could say that's part of the reason that it's come to a point where we decided to call it a day with the band. One of the main goals was to go to America and finish what we started in the 80s. And since that didn't happen, that was also frustrating because of that too. But There's been a rumor about me moving back to New York, and there's a lot of other kinds of rumors too, but I haven't really planned on moving to New York permanently yet, at least. I love New York, and I loved living there. I lived there for 10 years on Manhattan on East 3rd Street. But I want to go to America to, you know, just to play. And with my solo band, I can do that, you know. So one of the plans, yeah, I want to definitely get to America, and I love America, and it'll be great to get out there again. But first, I'm going to start working on some solo stuff, writing songs and getting an album together. And I'm not going to rush it. I want to make a perfect record for myself, and then put a killer live band together and do it properly, you know. So that's definitely in the works, in the plans. See you soon. I'll be surfing USA. It's too early to say though. I mean, I'm going to be working with quite a few people, but I don't want to. Usually, I don't like to talk about stuff prematurely. I'd like to just do the work and then, you know, put it out there, and you'll know. You'll find out soon enough. But I don't want to talk prematurely because I'm still making plans and connections and stuff. But I have cool people that I can definitely work with, and that's one of the great things about being solo. I have the freedom now to work with whoever I want, and stuff like that. So, but I made a lot of friends and a lot of cool relationships with people in America while I was living there, and I would love to work with certain people out there again too. And yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, musically I've always been a little bit more. My solo career, I've always been a bit more harder rock and more punkier kind of the musical style. You know, along the lines of, you know, the Not Faking It album meets the Demolition 23 album, if you remember that one, which never was released in the States, actually, officially. But I also bring my sound up to date, you know, make it fresh and not just rehash or, you know, warm up the past, but kind of, you know, redo what I've done already, you know. I want to add something fresh to it, and a lot of it has to do with who I'm going to work with, what kind of stuff I come up with while I'm, you know, working with different people. So the direction will be, you know, contingent on that as well. And in terms of lyrics, I mean, HANOI ROCKS has a different type of thing. There's a lot of kind of poppy, you know, songs that are not that deep, but that's okay. You know, there's a lot of like love songs and poppy kind of melodies and stuff, and that's okay for HANOI. But solo, I would, you know, my lyrics and stuff are a bit more, you know, to the point, not politically, but like I like to say a bit more, you know, and have you know, raise questions and make some statements and maybe stuff that people can really relate to in a bit deeper level. And, you know, you always sing songs with more conviction when you relate to the lyrics completely. So I always feel like I deliver my solo material a bit better than the HANOI stuff. But then again, since the reunion of the rebirth HANOI, the new HANOI records, I have had much more to do with the writing. So that way I have been able to relate to the lyrics as well. But, you know, songs like Fashion, you know, it's a different kind of statement, and my solo stuff is a bit more extreme, more harder rocking, and sort of lyrically maybe a bit stronger, you know, in terms of making statements. But then it's still not too serious anyways. I could never get too preachy, or, you know, I can just express my views in ways that hopefully usually people can relate to, you know, being the individual rocker that I am. Well, yeah, it's been great riding with Andy, and it's not to say that someday we might visit on each other's solo albums, or we might even end up writing something in the future. I wouldn't rule that out. It's still a possibility. We talked about that when we decided to call it a day. We said, yeah, we can still visit with each other. So that's not out of the question. So we'll still remain friends. It's not like we had any kind of a big fight or anything like that. That's why it's nice to finish this on a high note, in a positive way. Because in the '80s, we were cut short abruptly in a very tragic way. It was very sad and a big disaster, and that's why it's nice to be able to say farewell on a high note in a nice, positive way. In the recent years, there's been a lot of cool bands coming out of Finland, and I'm really glad for that, and I'm happy to be able to, according to people like Ville Balo from him and Rasmus and people like that, they've said that, at least Ville has said that HANOI ROCKS opened a lot of doors for bands in Finland to come out of there. Because before HANOI ROCKS, it really never occurred to a lot of bands in Finland to even think of getting out of there. Because the Finnish mentality is such that they're a bit too humble, too kind of like, we don't want to get out there, we don't even speak the language, and, excuse me for existing, and I'm just a musician, seriously here, I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. Well, we're not trying to be anything we're not, but we said we're rockers, we're rocks, of course we want to rock on stage, we want to perform, and, sure, we'll take the money, if that's what it comes down to. We're doing this on our own terms, and yeah, we're rock stars, so what? It's like, you don't have to apologize for your existence. This is what we do, and our goal was to get out of Finland. The first thing, we didn't even want to become big in Finland because we wanted to get out of there. I was scared that we were going to get stuck there if we became one of those bands that toured the country. There's not many places you can tour. Even though the first year we toured in Finland with HANOI, it was like we did like 110 shows or whatever. Over 110, 130 shows, I think, the first year, which is amazing in Finland for that time, especially in the 80s. They were like, you can't find enough venues to play. But we just moved out of Finland. We went to Stockholm, started out on the streets, and worked our way up to moving to London. We relocated to London, and we were, became the scene over there. And after that, I guess it's been a bit easier for Finnish bands to come out of there, but also it comes down to the band, wherever you're from. And we never thought of ourselves as a Finnish band, first of all. We were more like an international band. And we never got anything but grief from Finland, from the government. We never had any kinds of grants or support, or it was only later, after we got, made ourselves a name in the world, the Finns started saying like, okay, they're our boys, They even had some politician or something called the Finland Evening. When we first came to Japan, they had this whole thing with this Finnish ambassador or somebody there, shaking our hands, and we were like laughing. We were laughing at the whole thing. It's just like, from the beginning, all they said was like in the press, who are these freaks, junkies, faggots, who are they? What do they think they are? Rock stars and people just taking the piss. We just left. But nowadays, there's a lot of bands that are really successful out in the world, and I'm really happy for them. Him, Rasmus, Nightwish, and a lot of these metal bands, and a lot of that sort of stuff too, the gothic kind of vibe, and which kind of makes sense because the country is such that they have that kind of morose, or the vibe is, it's, most of the time it's dark and cold, so it's that Nightwish kind of image kind of suits Finnish band, but we're unlike any other band really, anyways. Most people, there was a rumor in LA at one time in the early years, I think, that we were from Hanoi, from Vietnam. Sadly, might have looked a bit like from Vietnam. So we're with HANOI ROCKS, none of the usual rules apply. It's always been the case, and same with me. My message to all fans in Japan. God bless you. Thank you for all the support throughout the years, and thanks for your loyalty. I love this country, and I love you guys, and I'll be back as Michael Monroe, and we'll be rocking harder than ever. And we'll see you down the road. Keep on rocking. Rock like fuck, like I say. May I say that? I hope so. Otherwise you can edit beep.